In February of 1959, 9 young hikers set out on what was supposed to be the adventure of a lifetime. They were students from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, skilled, prepared, and eager to test themselves against the harsh winter mountains of Soviet Russia. The leader was Igor Dyatlov, just 23 years old. Alongside him were 8 friends, each bringing their own expertise: skiing, engineering, medicine. They were confident, experienced, and for them, this was nothing unusual. But the journey they began would end in one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Their goal was to reach a mountain known to the local Mansi people as Kholat Shakhl, the Mountain of the Dead. On January 31st, they began climbing toward the pass. The weather worsened quickly. Heavy snow, freezing winds, and limited visibility forced them to camp on the slope of the mountain itself. It was the last time anyone would ever see them alive. When they didn't return on schedule, search parties were sent out. Weeks later, the camp was found. The hiker's tent was half buried in snow, ripped wide open from the inside. Their boots, coats, even food supplies were left behind, untouched. It looked as if they had fled in terror. Soon, searchers followed footprints leading into the forest. The first 2 bodies were found under a tall cedar tree, barefoot, dressed only in their underwear. Their hands were burned, as if they had tried to climb into the branches to escape something or someone. Nearby, 3 more bodies were discovered, including Dyatlov himself. They seemed to have collapsed while trying to crawl back toward the tent. 2 months later, the remaining 4 hikers were found in a ravine, half buried under snow. Their injuries were devastating. 1 woman's tongue was missing. 2 had shattered ribs and massive internal trauma, the kind of injuries you'd expect from a car crash, not from lying in snow. Yet there were no external wounds, no bruises or cuts. And then came the strangest discovery. Some of their clothing contained unusually high levels of radiation. No one could explain how it got there. Theories began to swirl. Some believed it was a simple avalanche. Others suspected military testing, secret Soviet weapons, and still others whispered about UFOs, a Yeti attack, or something even darker hiding in the mountains. The Soviet investigation quickly closed the case, calling it a compelling natural force. But what kind of natural force rips open tents from the inside, drives people barefoot into freezing snow, and leaves bodies broken and irradiated? For decades, the truth was hidden in classified files. Families demanded answers. Independent researchers traveled to the site, and yet every new detail only deepened the mystery. Even today, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains debated. Some modern scientists argue that a rare kind of avalanche, combined with hurricane-force winds, could explain the panic and injuries. But others point to the radiation, the missing tongue, the precise way the bodies were found, and say, something more sinister happened that night. 9 friends walked into the mountains full of life, laughter, and ambition. Weeks later, they were found frozen, broken, and silent. The Dyatlov Pass remains a place of death and mystery, and perhaps some answers were never meant to be found.